Kenya. Now on to our special feature tonight. Kenya has for a long time since January 2024 been rocked by a troubling increase in femicide cases, with headlines overshadowed by the horrific murders of women nationwide. This escalating crisis did ignite widespread protest, with activists and citizens calling for justice and immediate action to tackle the entrenched misogyny and the violence faced by women. Cynthia Ochieng with this special feature.
Barely 3 weeks into the new year of 2024, dark shadows had fallen over Kenyan women. The headlines, which should have been filled with hope and aspiration for the future, were instead dominated by grim reports of femicide.
A prime suspect responsible for the murder of the bodies discovered at Quarry Dam site in Mukuru kwa Jenga.
Aged man on suspicions of murdering a 24-year-old woman, Starlet Wahu.
Husishwa na mauaji ya kikatili ya Rita Waeni.
The rising death toll of women, victims of brutal acts of violence, painted a bleak picture of a society still deeply entrenched in misogyny. The growing wave of femicide reached a boiling point, sparking the largest ever anti-femicide protest across Kenya. With women and activists taking to the streets, their voices echoed the urgent demand for justice and an end to violence against women.
Stop killing women! Stop killing women! Stop killing women!
As the nation watched in shock, the cases continued to flood the news. It became clear that these were not isolated incidents, but part of a larger, more insidious pattern that had become deeply ingrained in societal structures. The cases such as the brutal killings of Starlet Wahu, Ugandan long-distance runner Rebecca Cheptegei, and Rita Waeni were just a few of the many women whose lives were tragically cut short. The murders from Quarry, alongside countless other unreported cases, underscored the dehumanization of women.
Fine, area which is called lumbar area, the lower abdomen, whereby the person cut through the spine. The other body, I think we are going to, because of time, we will not start interrogating it. We are going to start do the exercise on Wednesday, because tomorrow we are going to be dedicated for of X-ray of all those remaining body parts which are in body bags. So that is all.
For me, the occurrence of femicide, which is being done in a very flagrant manner, how, for example, I keep asking myself, how can those bodies of young women be dumped in a quarry next to a police station? It goes on, and it has gone on. So many bodies just being dumped there on the nose, or under the glare of the police. That is a governance issue. Is there complicity? Is it lack of failure on the part of the state organs to protect and promote the rights of Kenyans and the women in particular?
The blame and stigma surrounding the victims continued to mask efforts to curb the epidemic of femicide. Victims were often portrayed as the cause of their own deaths.
What we are saying is that we don't want to be blamed because you are being killed. That woman that was killed in Malunga, she was killed in her home. She was not killed because she was after anybody's money. She was not killed because she has taken anything from anyone. She was killed because she was a woman. And we don't want people blaming our young women that they are being killed because they love money. Nobody is forcing anybody to give anybody money. To be realistic. And we are not forcing men. Men are killing us. And what we are saying is that stop killing.
The Kenya National Commission for Human Rights outlined that at least 97 women had been murdered in the last 3 months. The Kenya National Police, on its end, indicated that between August and October, there were at least 100 femicide cases. The Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi on 19th December announced that the country had recorded a total of 7,107 sexual and gender-based violence cases from September 2023. Consequently, This sparked widespread national debate as women, activists, and human rights organizations rallied to bring voice the systemic nature of the violence that women faced daily, calling for it to be pronounced as a national crisis.
There is complicity on the part of government. There is complicity on the part of law enforcement agents, and I don't think we are taking the lives of women seriously. When the perpetrators of death, of femicide, can just walk out of a police station and go. And as a country, what are you telling us? As a government, what are you telling us?
During the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence that started on November 25th, activists marched to raise awareness and prevent femicide. Even so, the crisis persisted, with the death toll rising, highlighting the deep-rooted nature of the issue and urgency for change. On 20th of November, the pressure from women leaders and activists forced President William Ruto to acknowledge the crisis, where he called for collective action from all members of the society to confront the rise in femicide, as well as emphasizing the importance of serving justice swiftly for those responsible for the heinous acts.
This morning, I had the honor of a meeting with women leaders to discuss a pressing and deeply troubling issue: the increasing cases of femicide in our country. The stories of lives tragically cut short and families shattered by this vice demand our immediate and urgent action. It is a stark reminder that we must act swiftly and decisively to protect the lives and the dignity of every woman and girl in Kenya. Let me reiterate that the government, in its women's agenda, is explicitly committed to ending all forms of violence. As leaders, we are united in the resolve to ensure that justice is swift and efficient.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and former Deputy Chief Justice Dr. Nancy Barasa emphasized that the ongoing femicide cases should serve as a stark reminder that Kenya, despite its democratic status, was failing to protect half of its population.
That we must, as a country, address the issue of femicide, that we must revisit our values, our constitutional values of rule of law, of respect for human dignity, because what is happening to women is a complete violation of the dignity of women.
Gender-based violence is a major violation of women's human rights, as well as a criminal and social problem. We are particularly concerned about the alarming cases of violence against women, including intimate partner violence reported in Kenya in recent months. This trend shows a breakdown in our values and morals.
December 10th saw women across Kenya stage a mega march against femicide with the aim of calling for change and sanity on the matter. However, they were met with hostile police officers who scattered the crowd while firing tear gas canisters, silencing the voices demanding a safer future for women. A specialized, recently formed missing persons unit, domiciled at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations Homicide Unit, now stands as one of the avenues bringing an array of hope for women towards fighting gender-based violence. Ocheng Cynthia, KUTV.